what's the best decision you ever made? On the other side, what's the worst decision you ever made? Well, this study article is about decisions. Hello friends, we hope this finds you doing well. In today's video, we're going to be considering the study article for this weekend, March 22nd to 23rd, 2025. So friends, we welcome you. Thanks for joining us. And now, let's get into it. Study article number 3, entitled, Make Decisions That Please Jehovah. The theme text reads, The fear of Jehovah is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Most Holy One is understanding. We're going to be considering how to use knowledge, but not just knowledge, understanding and discernment to make wise decisions, and the difference and importance of each one of these qualities. Paragraph 1. What challenge do we all face? Every day we have to make decisions. Some are relatively easy, like what to have for breakfast or what time to go to bed. However, it's not always easy because we want our decisions to be good for us, for our family, for above all, we want them to please Jehovah. Number 2, what steps will help you make wise decisions? 3 steps. Number 1, get the facts as possible. Second, consider Jehovah's thinking on the matter. And third, weigh the options. And also, we'll see how we can train our powers of discernment. The first one, get the facts. Number 3, illustrate why you need to get the facts before you make a decision. Well, imagine a patient goes to the doctor with a serious health issue. Would the doctor decide on a treatment without first examining the patient or asking questions? Of course not. Similarly, we'll make better decisions if we first analyze all the information as possible related to our situation. Number 4, let's read now Proverbs 18:13, and this reads, When anyone replies to a matter before he hears the facts, it's foolish and humiliating. In harmony with this verse, how can you make sure that you know the facts? Well, we can often get the facts by asking questions. That's really important. And if you are asking, but you don't get any answer, that's a red flag. Another comment, suppose you are invited to a social gathering, to a social meeting, a party with brothers of the congregation. Apparently, it's okay. Shouldn't be any issue, any problem with that because they're brothers. And this is a very common situation. And that's why Jehovah's organization is putting this example like a local need. And now, should you attend? Again, apparently, yes, there shouldn't be any issue. They're brothers. But if you are not acquainted with the host or the arrangements, you'll need to ask him such questions as where and when will the gathering, the party, be held? How large will it be? Who will supervise it? Who will attend? What activities are planned? Will alcoholic drinks be served? That's very important to know. And again, this is a very common situation. Brothers and sisters are organizing their parties, their social meetings. Apparently, there shouldn't be any issue, any problem. But that's why Jehovah's organization is giving us this advice through this study article. And the importance of getting the facts as possible, asking questions. And these young brothers and sisters are discussing about this invitation. And of course, there's gonna be alcohol, there's gonna be dancing, and they are considering who will attend to this party. And now they notice it's really important, it's a big deal, it's not a big, it's not so innocent as they thought at first sight. Okay, now what should you do once you have the facts? For example, what if we find out that this party we're invited to will include people who don't respect biblical principles, or that alcohol will be served without supervision? Is there a risk to the event could get out of hand and turn into a wild party? Yes, of course. That's very noticeable. Or what if attending to the event means missing a congregation meeting or not being able to go out in the service? Consider what Jehovah thinks. Okay, now let's read again from the Bible, James 1:5. We read, "So if any one of you is lacking in wisdom, let him keep asking God, for he gives generously to all and without reproaching, and it'll be given him." So according to this, why should we pray Jehovah's help? Because we're limited. We need his wisdom. We need his understanding. It's like we're blind, and we want our decisions to align with Jehovah's thinking, and he promises to give wisdom generously to all and without reproach. That's why we need to beg him help about this matter. Number 7, how can you acquire Jehovah's thinking? Illustrate. We must be careful with our conduct after we're asking his help. For example, let's picture this situation. If we're traveling and get lost, we might ask someone who lives in the area for help, for advice. We wouldn't leave without listening to his answer, right? Instead, we'd pay close attention, listening to him, listening to his instruction. Similarly, after asking Jehovah for wisdom, we should listen for his answer by searching for Bible principles related to our situation. Instead of turning a blind eye and go away immediately, we should listen in Jehovah. Number 8, what can you do if you need help to find the information you are looking for? We have some options. For example, talk with a spiritual mentor, with a close friend, a mature Christian, like one of both of our parents in case they are alive, or with a mature and experienced brother or sister who can offer suggestions or ideas. Another comment, it's very important we learn to fish ourselves by our own. In other words, doing our own research. There is a wealth of information in our study tools, such as the research guide for Jehovah's Witnesses, and another new tool, Scriptures for Christian Living. Very practical and helpful. And in this one of the brothers doing his own research before deciding whether to go to the party, considering Jehovah's thinking. And let me know in the comments if you know what's he's reading, what publication he's reading, and the theme. Okay, number 9. Let's read now Ephesians 5:17, and this one reads, "On this account, stop being unreasonable, but keep perceiving what the will of Jehovah is." How can we be sure that our decision will please Jehovah? As we read in this verse, we need to know Him well. We need to know what's His will. And this is related with the theme text of this study article, Proverbs 9:10. Knowledge of the Most Holy One is understanding. So, knowledge is the key. To get genuine understanding, we need to know Jehovah's qualities, His purpose, and what He loves and hates. That's very important. In that way, we'll be able to compare our decision, the facts related with God's knowledge. And we ask yourself, based on what I know about Jehovah, what decision will please Him? Number 10, why are Bible principles more important than family tradition or local culture? And this is very important, and we understand the importance of please Jehovah instead of some people. First of all is Jehovah. We want to please Him and obey Him rather than people. Of course, we understand that this won't be easy. We must pay a price, and we notice that some people, they are not able or willingly to pay this price against social pressure. Okay, why? Because they want to please people, but they are not interested to please Jehovah. And if they had to choose between pleasing Jehovah or pleasing people, they prefer pleasing people. They don't really care at all pleasing Jehovah. That's why the Apostle Paul says at Galatians 1:10 that if he lives to please people, immediately or eventually he won't be in good standing before Jehovah and Christ. Another comment, for example, well-meaning parents might pressure their daughter to marry a wealthy person, and that's very, very common today. And it's another example that's what's going on around. Now, weigh the options. 11. What quality discussed at Philippians 1:19 will help you to weigh your options? And let's take a look of this, because it's not assuring of all the things, of the most important things. That's not the quality. It reads, "And this is what I continue praying, that your love may abound still more and more with accurate knowledge and full discernment, that you make sure of the more important things, so that you may be flawless and not stumbling others up the day of Christ." So the quality is discernment. He literally says, more and more with accurate knowledge and full discernment. Okay, the quality of discernment will enable you to perceive the potential outcome of each option. Sometimes the decision can be easily made, piece of cake, but not all decisions are that straightforward. Discernment will help you to make wise decisions even in complex situations. 12 and 13. How can discernment help you make a wise decision regarding secular employment? Discernment can help us see other important factors. For example, it's not just to get a job. Would one of the jobs prevent us from attending meetings? Would it take away time we need to care for our family's emotional and spiritual needs? Okay, that's discernment. When we are comparing and considering these other options and situations, pros and cons. But not just that, we are trying to solve it, to negotiate options. 14. How will using discernment and showing love help us to avoid stumbling others? Another common situation, and this is like a local need, it's about personal grooming, particular style of clothing or grooming. And today, the fashion, these styles around are very common, that men look like women and women look like men. But what if this is happening to some brothers and sisters in the congregation? What if others inside or outside in the neighborhood, they be offended by it? They don't feel comfortable observing our grooming, our style. Okay, discernment will help us to respect their feelings. That's the important. Instead of thinking this is a private matter, this is my decision, not them, they should mind their own business. That's not Christian and theocratic mentality. Love will motivate us to seek the advantage of the other person and to be modest. We'll then make a decision that reflects our love and respect for others. 15. What planning is needed before implementing a major decision? Think about everything it'll take to follow through. This is a Bible principle. Jesus had it about calculate the expense, Luke 14:28. So consider the amount of time, resources, and effort required. In some cases, it's not just about money. It'll take time, it'll take strength, it'll take other resources and effort. It's good to discuss the matter with our family to see how we can work together as a team and they can support the decision. They feel included, not excluded. Make a decision that will succeed. Number 16. What steps will help you to make a decision that will succeed? You have obtained the facts. We get the facts as possible and examine the principles, Bible principles that will help you make a decision that is pleasing Jehovah. Now you can beg Jehovah's help. In that way you make your decision succeed. And we remember that Jehovah has the final word in everything. And it doesn't matter if everything looks well, at the end, at the last minute, things might change. And that's the principle. Jehovah has the final word always, in everything. How to make wise decisions: get the facts, ask questions, then look carefully to see the full picture. Consider what Jehovah thinks, pray for help, and reason on Bible principles. Weigh the options, discern how a decision could affect you and others, and calculate what it'll take to implement the decision. What is the key to making good decisions? The key to making good decisions is to rely not on your understanding, not on your own intelligence, experience, but on the wisdom from Jehovah. He alone can give you true knowledge, understanding, and discernment, and the building blocks of wisdom. That's very precious and important to recognize and accept. How would you answer? What do these scriptures teach you about making good decisions? Proverbs 18:13 reminds us of the importance of get all the facts, all the information as possible. We wouldn't accept something without first understanding what we're getting into. Even if it's among of we brothers and sisters, we must be careful. We saw the example of a social party or meeting with some brothers. Apparently, there shouldn't be any issue, but many experiences teach us that we must be careful. What do Ephesians 5:17 teaches us about making good decisions? Helps us not to let others' opinions dictate our decisions. If we understand our primarily goal is to please Jehovah, we'll make it. Instead of seek to please people, as the Apostle Paul says at Galatians 1:10, we will be able to pay the price. What price is that? Others may be upset with us, not because we did something wrong, it's just because we are not living their own expectations about us. Instead of that, we are pleasing Jehovah through our actions and decisions. What about Philippians 1 9 10 teach us about making good decisions? This teaches us that we need discernment to anticipate the possible outcome of each option. Sometimes decisions will be easy, but other times it won't be easy at all. So discernment helps us even in complex situations. Okay, friends, thank you so much for joining us in this consideration. And remember, you could support this channel by subscribing and liking this video. Okay, once again, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.